If you're a homeowner, if you're thinking about owning a home, if you live in a home, listen up. We're gonna talk about home maintenance tips specifically for the fall. And I actually invited Jim Rouland with Quality Home Consultants to come over to my house, not just talk, but show exactly what those items are. Oh, there he is. Hey Jim.
Hey, how are you doing?
Why is it so important for homeowners to do those things, all those things? It's not just once a year, it's every season.
The fall checklist, it's important to do these things to, one, get ready for the winter, because there's going to be, get ready for the cold, and it's going to create different challenges for a home. And two, we need to stay on top of some of these things to make sure that they don't get left behind and turn into bigger issues later on. And throughout the wintertime, it's not as easy to keep on top of those things.
I had to do a little home cleaning before inviting Jim. I had to vacuum, clean the carpets, pick up all the toys. If you want to watch cartoons, you need to pick up all your Legos and all your toys. Before we're gonna go inside, we're gonna talk about some of the things that every homeowner should do outside. And one of the first things is
Your gutters.
what's up with gutters?
So this fall season, all these leaves are going to be falling and hitting the roof and ending up in your gutters. This gutter's clean. However, if you allow the gutters to get clogged, the water could overflow and create some moisture in the crawl space because the water from the roof is hitting the foundation. But also it could back up underneath the shingles and create some wood rot on the roof edge and in the soffit.
Okay, on to the next item.
Well, later on in the fall, you're going to want to make sure that the hose bibs, the hoses come off of the hose bib. Not this time of year, but a little bit later on in the fall, we could hit some freezing temperatures. And if there's still a hose on that hose bib when the freezing temperatures come, then it can actually break the hose bib and leak inside the house. Later on in the fall, you're going to want to take these hoses off and that splitter, and make sure that there's no water stuck inside that splitter, because that water will actually freeze and it'll go into the weakest point, which is the copper that's inside the wall. You turn off the water on the spigot itself, but leave these open.
I hear one more thing on the list, but that's goes without saying for every season, and we are not very good at it because we had a very good growing season and these bushes kind of grew very close to the house, and you ideally want to keep them kind of away.
Yeah, you would want to trim these bushes off of the side of the house because it can hold moisture up against the house, and moisture is the worst thing that can happen to a house.
We finally made it inside. What are we checking inside?
We're going to check around the windows and doors to make sure that they're sealing properly.
And why that's important?
Well, because if there's any drafts, you're going to get that cold weather coming in the wintertime, and it's going to up your energy bill. I have an infrared camera. Not every homeowner is going to have one. Mm-hmm. But this is going to give you an idea of what I'm talking about as far as energy, heat loss or heat gain. Here's the door, and you can see the edge of that door. I'm going to use like a little pointer right there. You can see the actual heat from outside coming through that door. Keeping those seals around the doors and windows is going to help you with your energy bills.
Next item would be
the fire extinguisher.
Fire extinguisher. That's more like a safety item, but still,
it goes along with your smoke detectors.
Okay.
You want to have your smoke detectors change the batteries every time you change the clocks. So you spring ahead, you put new batteries in your smoke alarm. Mm-hmm. If you fall back.
So don't wait until it beeps?
No, don't wait until it beeps.
What?
So on this fire extinguisher, they have a date, how long this is good for. Mm-hmm. And you want to make sure that it's within that age range. I don't see a date on here. Typically they'll have a date on the label, and you want to keep it within the date, just like as if it was food that would spoil.
So potentially it can mean that in the emergency situation it's not going to work for us?
That's correct. So.
And just by logic, we're going to talk about smoke detectors, right?
That's correct. So you should have at least one smoke detector on every floor, preferably.
This is what it looks like.
One in the hallway to every bedroom, and one on every floor. So You want to change these batteries every time that you change the clock. If the smoke alarm doesn't wake you up, then doesn't do you any good.
Next item, let's see what's wrong, what else is wrong with our house. And that would be?
We're going to be looking at the garage door. Make sure that the garage door is adjusted properly.
And why that's important?
Because the sensors, whether either be electric I-beam or a sensor on pressure, can come out of adjustment. And that means that the door will continue to try to force its way down even when it hits an obstacle. You know, a cat or a dog that you might have that gets stuck under the door, instead of hitting it and reversing, it'll keep trying to close. So we want to make sure that those are adjusted properly.
That will not be a good day for anybody.
What we're going to do is open up the garage. This type of garage door opener has these electric I-beams. So if a dog or a child or a cat comes in contact underneath the door, it's going to stop that door before it hits the child or
It's supposed to.
It's supposed to.
They're properly working. Okay.
We're going to test this one out.
Who do you want me to sacrifice?
This door is not adjusted properly because it opened back up before anything got into the I-beam, which is a better problem than the reverse, when it won't reverse.
But still a problem. Last but not least is
your furnace filter.
furnace. I'm sure some people don't even know where the furnace is.
If you look around, you're either going to have vents in the ceiling or in the floor. In this case, we have vents that are in the floor. So that tells me that the air handler is going to be in the crawl space. In some cases, you'll have a return grill where you can actually change your filter inside the home.
So this is what it looks like.
So you want to stop for a second?
Looks like we identified another problem in our crawl space. Our furnace is leaking water.
You've got a condensation leak here. One maintenance tip that helps prevent this is this cap comes off right here, and you can pour a teaspoon of bleach in this hole to keep junk from growing in this trap, and it'll help the condensation flow better. This is where you change your filter, and most of them will have filter door written on the unit itself to just let you know where to change it.
How often do we change it?
As needed, so once every 3 months is good.
If we did not identify this problem right now with the leakage,
Water could actually back up inside the air handler and inside the duct and damage your ductwork.
well, that escalated quickly from squeaky clean gutters to a problem in the crawl space. That's not how at all I envisioned this video will go down. That's the whole point of doing your seasonal checkups on your house and making sure everything is running good and catching a potential problem early instead of late. Thank you so much, Jim.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching. If you want to check out another video that we did with Jim a few months ago, it's about pre-sale inspections. So it's an inspection for sellers and something that sellers can do before they put their house on the market. Check it out. It's going to be right there, and I will see you next time.